right, welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. In tonight's episode, we jump right back into this mega recap, part 2. So, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. And if you ran out of your snack, go back and get another one. Let's just jump into that. So, Monday Night Raw, that this past Monday, was also out of London, and the opening segment of the night is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Fantastic, felt real, amazing jabs from both parties. Like, oh my gosh. To this day, I'm walking around and I'm just like looking at Bruno. Listeners, Bruno is my dog. I look at him and I'm like, I build empires for billionaires. And you just steal money from their kids. Bruno's looking at me like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, sure thing. Whatever you say, Pop.
But for real, man, what a segment.
That was good.
And Cody, oh my gosh, like Cody coming back with like, oh yeah, you know, what did he say? He said something along the lines of like, you are a company man. You are a creation of the industry. It's just that it just so happens that the one guy that, put you there isn't around anymore and we don't talk about him. It's like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing, guys?
He's like, you are a company man. He's like, but because Cena called him the chosen one or whatever, and he goes, yeah, I am the chosen one. He's like, but you know who chose me? It's the fans chose me. Right. You were chosen by one guy in a suit who we don't talk about anymore.
Oh,
and it was like
what?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, motherfucker, get him. See, this is why I love this Cody, because when you were like, oh, when he comes back and now he's like a little bitch, like, oh, put respect. I'm like, no, you have to respect on this man's name, and this is why. Stuff like this, where I'm like, see, this is why he's not gonna let Cena just son him. No, this was a great promo, really well done.
Yeah, and then obviously, and then the you got more boop in your promo than you do in your jorts, like just. Wow. I mean, I get it. I know it's Netflix, but I feel like we've really taken licenses with this and just like, hey, say whatever you want, and it's like,
I mean, it's, I mean, in all honesty now though, I mean, it's unfortunately the way the world is working. We're also moving to a thing where that particular word is not as prevalent as others. So that's a little more, the way bitch went from like, you can't say it now. You can say damn fucking near anywhere. Like, so well, that's the thing, is also because I work Monday nights, so I never get to watch Raw live. So I always catch the replay. So I'm always getting the edited version. I'm always getting the boop. Now, this might have happened on the live version because it was taped anyway from over there. So who knows? But I always get the boops. So that's why I'm always like, so for me, half the time I don't find it as annoying because I'm like, that shit got bleeped out for me anyway. So I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, but overall, incredible segment. Definitely an awesome way to save last week's segment. Even though I didn't think it needed saving, it's just that it wasn't that impactful. I think segment 1 was impactful. Segment 2 was okay. And then this segment was, really driving the point home. Like, this feels real. This feels like there's a legitimate hate for each other now, especially two of like the nicest guys, right? Like, you sit here and say to yourself, man, like John Cena's, Mr. Make-A-Wish, and Cody is basically that as well. Like he does everything for the fans and stays an hour or two extra after the show is over. So it's like, to see these two nice guys, really get in each other's faces to make this match feel real in a few weeks. I dig it. I can't wait to see what happens on that match. You know what I mean? So awesome segment.
It's gonna be a great one. It's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a great match. And like, they're both doing really great work on the mic and these promos together, where they don't even have to get physical with one another yet, which is great. And I mean, I understand that at some point that's going to get tiresome and you're going to want to see them, but with only, 2 weeks till Mania, they can throw jabs at each other next week and be ready for that showdown come Mania. But
and we did get a little taste of it, because what ended up happening was, after that comment when he was like, see you later, champ, and John was about to walk out, Cody was like, no, John, at least nobody ever said to me that I can't wrestle. And then he gets back in the
Fans never
ring.
chanted, "You can't wrestle."
Right, right. And then he gets back in the ring and then gets the crossroads on him. John has no idea where he's at, walks out with his, tail tucked between his legs. Awesome. Awesome. Felt real. I'm with it.
Yeah. Great.
Super good.
Great promo. Great work. I can't wait. It's going to build up huge. This is going to be some really fun stuff in this next week and a half. And that promo was absolutely fantastic.
Yes, yes. All right. And then moving on to your favorite group, The New Day finally get their match to prove their worth and go against another hometown favorite, New Catch Republic. And again, New Day ends up getting the win. The hometown heroes end up losing. Again, we're setting the New Day up. And then finally the War Raiders comes out face to face with them, that kind of thing. But I was like, man, a double, that's, I don't know. I didn't like the hometown heroes losing twice on two different brands. You know what I mean? But okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to get these guys over. And I mean, like you said, better to get the work for the guys who were hometown guys there to at least let them, be in front of their fans and their people. So, yeah. It kind of stinks, but you got to get the New Day and the Profits over in those two spots.
I guess that makes sense too, because that also happened in Spain. Now that I think about it, with Axiom, right? Gunther beat Axiom, and
there you go.
Another hometown hero lost. But okay, cool. But I get it.
Showcase him.
Yeah, for sure. Next segment, Jay and Jimmy talk about the Gunther match. Jimmy says that he's just a man, and I'm gonna prove that to you. I'm gonna show you that I could beat him. Jay, this is what I like. I like this little movie moment, right, where they shake hands and Jay pulls him in and he goes, "I hear you, but be careful." And I was like, yeah.
He's gonna get destroyed. He's gonna get destroyed, ain't he? He's gonna something bad's gonna happen to poor Jimmy.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
Yeah, man.
The match followed, and it was a solid match. And Jimmy got his shots in, made Gunther look at some points like he was human before Gunther gets the win, and then proceeds to beat the shit out of Jimmy till Jay comes down to help. And then in the move of all moves, the heel move of all, I'm going back into the 80s and I'm handcuffing you to the rope. Except nowadays they use zip ties.
Zip tie. Which I feel like you could break that, but okay, whatever.
I've seen, I've seen some not my juice. I was about to say I've seen episodes like 24 and stuff where they just slap it against this and it rips and you're like But this was fun. And I thought great work there. I thought really really great work by Jay selling my brother's getting the shit beat out of me angle, and I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you when I get my hands on you. And Jimmy just bleeding all over the joint, just getting. And once again, to the conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago, not to the gratuitous point, not to a point where there's spikes in the man's back. Cut him with a little bit of thing here, blood moving. It's enough to be like, okay, damn, he's messed up. This hurts.
This just got real.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then the sell by Jay. Really, really great job. Gunther, great heel. Really good work here. I think this is all building to have the roof come off of the place when Jay wins at Mania.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, really quick, I wanted to make a connection here, right? For some reason, I feel like the writers, when it comes to Gunther, really, really pull from the Rocky movie collection, right? And
yeah. He's not a machine. He's a man. He's not a machine. He's a man. Yeah. Because the minute he said he's beatable, I'm like, hey, he's not a machine. I forget what Apollo's trainer was, and he's screaming. He's like, yeah, he's not a machine. He's a man. Yeah,
it wasn't just these segments either. It was even last year's with Sammy, right? When Sammy was like, "I'm afraid, okay? I'm afraid," with Chad, you know what I mean? So it's man, they really pulled the Ivan Drago.
I'm afraid, okay? Yeah. He's crying to Adrian about this, and this fool's crying to Gable about it. I'm like, what is happening here? But yes, they're taking a lot of that, and it's like the worst Rocky. It's like of all the Rockies there, it's like let's be. And I'm just gonna side note. I'm really sorry because I know we're going long in this particular episode, but side note, Rocky 4 was just 4 good montages and 2 lines. That's what it was. But I digress. Anyway, but yes, they've done a lot of work with that to your point about Gunther being treated as Drago.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Moving on, Judgment Day segment. Just in the backstage, they're talking, figuring out what the next move is. Everybody's happy. Finn Balor is back. Now that we're not talking about new members, everything's back to normal. But it almost seems like something else is brewing, especially with the girls, which we could later touch on. But basically, that leads up to what's it called, Judgment Day with versus Penta and Braun, right? Because it was like a tag team,
Yes.
which ultimately was a huge win for Judgment Day, makes them look dominant again. Which for me, I could appreciate, because I felt like a lot of their dominance really came from like a Damian Priest or a Rhea, because they're so big and strong. And to kind of like see Dominic and Finn get a win, I felt pretty good. So I liked it. I was okay with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. So I hate to see Penta take the pin there, but you had to sell Judgment Day still as a prominent group, because they are going to have to split them up eventually. They did kind of tease that a little bit when Balor said he wanted to go get an IC shot, and then Liv was like, "Dom, this you should be getting that shot." Yeah. So they're so you got to do that. Like I said, it sucks to see Penta take the pin there, but you can't pin the Intercontinental Champion. And this way, Penta doesn't go off. He doesn't lose in the singles match. So his credibility there is not really shot. But solid match overall, great work. I'd like to see this for the Judgment Day. I want to see what they're going to do, how they move forward with how they're going to split them. Is it just going to be that Balor leaves and Carlito and this guy stay together, or what happens? But no, fun match. And, like I said, love Penta and starting to get behind Braun. So it was really good. It was good. It was fun. It was fun to see just all of them in the ring work really well together. It was great.
Yeah, for sure. Then we cut to the Chad Gable segment saying he can't compete again. And, Adam Pearce is, catching on. And it's like, okay, man, well, now you're coming with these excuses. Well, guess what? El Gran Americano will compete next Monday in Chad Gable's hometown. He's like, but I'll be good by then. He's like, no, don't worry. Like,
yeah, he's like, no, I got the doctor's note. Yeah, the doctor's note. You're good. You can't. You're not cleared. Sorry.
Yeah. So again, I like the little funny haha they're doing back and forth with this. Really cool. Then cutting to the next segment, Penta and Braun getting each other's faces, because, man, I love, going back to your point, I love what Triple H is doing with allowing the international talent to speak in their native tongue, because, us as Spanish speakers, we heard what he said. He's like, eres un pendejo, te saco la madre. And I was like, yo,
he's going in, man. He's going in.
And props to Braun for keeping his toughness. He's like, watch who you talking to like that. Like, because, I'm like, okay, you knew what he said. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. by the inflection and the tone, you can tell what my man was saying. Like you don't have to speak a language with an inflection and tone like that. You're like, oh, no, you coming after me. So it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, for sure. So awesome little segment there. Ultimately, the next part, AJ comes out, tired of waiting on Logan Paul, calls him out. Paul is like, oh, let's be real. You want this big money match at WrestleMania, and I'm the kind of guy to get that done for you. That whole thing, his cockiness, again, adding to the fuel to their beef. What I really liked about this segment is that Logan Paul finisher. Did you see that? Like,
oh, yeah.
AJ was like lifeless.
I was like, yeah, it was kind of cool. I was like, oh man, that's a great move, and this idiot's doing it. But that was really, because I noticed that. I was like, oh, because then I looked, because they showed the replay, and I was like, okay, let me check the neck, like look at the way he's falling, look at the land, and see how safe this move is. Because I did that also on Friday's episode of Smackdown with who? With so we'll talk about that later. But I was like, okay, yeah. Well, I was like to check and be like, is everyone cool? We're all alive. All right, great. But yeah, so that was a dope move, and yeah, solid thing. Like I said, it comes to Logan Paul and AJ Styles. I'm like, let's once again give me the baby, not the lip prints. Let's go. Like, I know what we're doing here. Let's put some time elsewhere. We got some more seeds we got to sow.
Yeah, exactly. And then awesome segment. Then we move on to the next segment, where, touching back on what you just said, Liv starts to make that little ruckus within the Judgment Day. That's where she's like, oh, Dom, you should be the one getting the title match and this and that. And I, like, again, the back and forth with this group. It's like 1 minute they're hot and they're really good, and we want them to continue thriving and succeeding. To the next minute, it's like, okay, when is the implosion going to happen? So a lot of back and forth with that. I kind of like that. It's keeping us guessing. So awesome little quick segment there.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, like I touched on it before when I said it. So yeah, but solid. Nice to see them building the storyline so we can see where we kind of veer off.
Yeah, for sure. And then the main event of the night, Io versus Rhea, with Bianca being guest referee, ultimately ends in a double DQ. Rhea stands tall this time.
This is gonna be a 3-way dance. This is why they can't end these matches on anything, and that's why, because I sat there and I was like, how are they gonna do this to where no one gets annoyed and this doesn't become a problem? It's like, and then double DQ, and it's like, well, there you go. Like, because I'm sitting there and I was like, who's gonna come in and help, or is she not gonna see something, or is she gonna cost? Like, is Bianca not gonna see something that Rhea does, and then Rhea's gonna say no? So you gave her that because you want to face her, but like, so I was like, great, double DQ. Exactly what we both said is we're on the precipice of now is the women's 3-way dance, and yeah, okay, let's dance, ladies, let's go, because at this point you've got two big names in the women's champ and Charlotte Flair, one of the greatest to do it in the women's division, in one side, so why not use your three biggest names on the other? It is WrestleMania, and unfortunately, even though it's 2 nights, you're not going to get a lot of women's matches. So to be able to showcase the talent that you have is as you know, and I don't want to say gimmicky because it's not, but as gimmicky as a 3-way dance is to bring in more talent and just to be able to showcase them, this is the best way to do it, to be able to get all of your female superstars, your more prominent female superstars on the card.
Yeah. Again, you know my feelings on it. Should have just been left alone, but I just don't like the bratty aspect of things. I like when people earn it. I like when people, go through the journey. I'm very much going through the trials and tribulation kind of person.
No, there's no real brattiness about this because Rhea Ripley's owed her rematch.
She got it.
Well, she got it and ended in double DQ.
Her fault. She should have put her hands on the referee.
But Io's fault also. She should have put her hands on the referee. Double DQ.
Yeah, but she's the champion. It's okay.
Not the only one. Not the only one. So technically, she's not being bratty. Technically, she's doing everything she can. She's going by the book. I'm owed him a rematch. Peter said, he's like, I've been trying to touch with you. You answer the phone. He's like, all right, well, that doesn't matter now. I want it. Like, let's go. Like, so it makes sense. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. I'm mad at it. And that's how the night gets ended. She's standing above both of them on the floor with the title belt. Rhea is victorious at the end. Executive producer Paul Levesque at the bottom.
Paul Levesque, right at the bottom, and whoever else is whatever, like Aaron, whatever, and you're like, okay, great.
Cool. All right. Now we're back in the States. We jump into this past Friday's SmackDown out of Chicago, out of the Shy. Of course, none other than CM Punk comes out to open up the show because he is the hometown favorite, hometown hero. And he comes out and to ask Paul Heyman. Oh, he actually asked Paul to come out. Paul comes out and they have a conversation about the favor, and he wants to know what the actual favor was. And he mentions to CM Punk that Roman isn't here yet, so he wants to make sure he's not on his bad side. And Punk gets an idea, and it's like, oh wait, he's not here yet? Okay, cool. Well, when he gets here, then we'll talk about the favor because it's going to affect him, and I want him to be there to listen to it. So poor Paul, stressed. I'm stressed for him the whole night. I'm just like
oh man, what's going through? What's he going through? Poor guy, man. Like, that was crazy. Yeah, no, that was good. That was good because he's like, all right, because we know Roman's coming now, and then we're gonna build it. At least we know we're getting the favor tonight.
Yes.
Like, so because with all, well, I mean, they didn't actually say it at that point, but with all signs leading to that and the way the conversations were going, you could kind of tell. Especially later on when there was the segment with the interview with Paul Heyman in the back. But we'll get to that.
Yeah. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, man. It's gonna be good. And then first match of the night, we get Nathan Frazier from Fraxium from NXT versus Ray Phoenix. Two things that I will, things that I will say about this match. Fantastic for Ray. Good to see that he has not lost a step and his confidence is there, because when you come back from a horrific arm break like that, and then come back and act like nothing ever happened, awesome for him. I mean, he looks incredible.
I mean, that was easily the match of the night on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure, 1,000%.
The match of the night. And I love Ray Phoenix, so I was very excited. Like to see the pyro in the beginning. Glad they gave him a good little time on the mic at the end. What they did for Penta. Just kind of
very happy with that.
Give him some time there. So I thought it was a great match. I thought Frazier was a great opponent for him in terms of just matching speed and size and everything like that, which helped the match seem more seamless and go smoothly. I mean, I think Phoenix is the kind of performer who you can put him with anybody and he'll make him look good. He's been doing this for like 20 years. He's fantastic. I mean, slew of tag champions. I think with Lucha Underground, he had some belts over there. He beat Moxley, even though albeit on accident in AEW for like one of the belts there too. Like, so I think I was great. I was excited. I can't wait. I love Phoenix and Penta, so I'm very happy the Lucha Brothers are in WWE. And I just can't wait to see what they do with him and how they're going to kind of move forward with plans for him, because maybe he might be the guy that you're like, you know what? There's my speed champion for like 6 weeks straight. You know, like, I mean, I hate to see him pulled off the main roster, but, you know, with so many guys, you know, in so little spots, you have to see what you're going to do. But I was very happy to see Phoenix in the ring.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's what I was gonna say. Like, he did incredible. The one thing that I will call out from that match though, that kind of I don't know if you noticed, right? But then also, like, Nathan, I felt like was very nervous. I don't know why. Like, there was a lot of missteps on his part. Like the dive through the ropes, and then there were
Yeah.
other moves during the match that it almost felt like he was nervous. And I was like, but why? You know what I mean? He's been in front of large crowds before, you know, but
I
who
mean,
knows?
then maybe, you know, been in front of large crowds before, but you're on Smackdown now. This is the one. Like, you know, not as good as NXT is, and as much as NXT is an entity in a wrestling division and its own thing, there's something to be said about being on Smackdown and Raw. And that one spot where he went through the ropes, like you could see where like Phoenix like double grabbed him to make sure that he caught him. He's like, "Are you," like, to tell him like, "Are you good?" And Phoenix, and then he was like, "Yeah." And then that spot that we were talking about before was in this match, the other spot where I had to check about someone's landing, because the Mexican Muscle Buster, the MMB, the Mexican Muscle Buster. Sorry, I was trying to think of the short friend there, but yeah, it looked like he came over, and then you saw like as he's doing it, like right at the end, Phoenix turns him, so it lands almost kind of suplexy, but it looks like it lands on his head. But no, great match and really great work. I was very, very excited, very happy, because I've been waiting for this for a minute.
For sure. And then to kind of circle back to what you said about the post match interview, it was in Spanglish. Loved every bit of that. You know, good for him for, you know, switching back and forth and having the ability and the license to do that.
Right.
It makes him feel more real, more authentic. And then even later on Instagram, you know, he had a little video about, you know, him having this dream since he was a kid and he crying like of pure emotion. Awesome. Love every bit of that.
Yep.
Super fan.
No, he's
really excited to see what he's going to do, for sure.
Yep. Like I said, man, you and I have both been fans of both of these guys and a couple of these other guys. You know, Ricochet was Prince Puma, and like, you know, from Lucha Underground. So it's nice to see them. And then, you know, in TNA, you know, Penta held the TNA World Championship, stuff like that. So glad to see them coming over and getting a shot on the WWE main roster.
Yeah. But then comes the segment that I didn't like, where Santos is yelling at Garza and Humberto about like, that's the kind of fire that we need to look for and this or that. And he's like, well, I'm better than him. All right, well, we'll set up the match for next week. So now you got Humberto versus Rey Fenix, which is going to be a banger. It's going to be fantastic.
That's going to be awesome. That's going to be a really, really good match. I just, the downfall of Legado de la Fantasma is, you know, on the horizon. And this is kind of the start of it. But I think that's going to be awesome in terms of like the speed and the movements, the agility, just the aerial moves. Like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. But my beef again, it's like, again with this Latino on Latino stuff, man. Like, just, bro, let us like, I like what they're doing with Penta because, you know, they didn't do it that way. You know what I mean? So it's like, I kind of want Rey to, you know, kind of fight like a Carmelo Hayes first, or, you know, somebody else like that's, you know, athletic and, you know, can keep up with him. You know what I mean? Right. So I get it.
I mean, that's the thing. In someone that's going to be about their stature, there's really just a bunch of the luchadors that are that same stature, with the exception of Carmelo Hayes and then like Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, stuff like that. But they're not as quick. Carmelo Hayes is. Pete Dunne and is not nearly as fast. So kind of tough. But yeah, you don't want to pigeonhole your luchadors and putting in, you know, your Latinos against each other and everything like that. But I mean, when it works and the rhythm flows the way it does, that's what's best for TV until you can get the proper storyline going. Because I think you can get a good build of Phoenix versus Carmelo the way you did for Carmelo and Andrade, because that was a hell of a series of matches. So I think you can do something like that. But yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of tough, but unfortunately, here we are.
Yeah. But then we move on to the next promo. Drew cuts a promo on Damian, tells him, you know, why does he hide and why, you know, he always got to sneak attack him and ruin his life. And, They showed flashbacks of Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, last year's WrestleMania when he cashed in. So that whole thing. And then actually, I forgot, but Drew has an eye patch, right? Because Glass apparently got in his eye from the windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Good promo. No complaints. Drew is Drew. Drew is fantastic. So, he's just doing his thing. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, it's once again, it's kind of like the Logan Paul, AJ Styles thing. We know what we're getting when we get there. We're going to get two guys who are really heated with one another that are going to put on a hell of a match. But there's not really much more storyline you can do. So you'll have to pick your couple spots. And that's why I think you haven't seen Priest and Drew on there for more than, 4 or 5 minutes at a clip on these episodes, because they can put time to develop other storylines, because we already know what this is. These two guys don't like each other. And that's just been abundantly clear. So we don't have to keep selling now. We can push stuff elsewhere. But yeah, good segment. Once again, laying groundwork. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, no, I loved it. Next is LA Knight and Bloodline segment. That one was pretty good, pretty entertaining. But then ultimately that leads up to the next match, actually, or the match is LA Knight versus Tama Tonga.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, ultimately, we know now where this is going, where now I believe at this point it's official, right? LA Knight is going to go against Jacob Fatu. Right? I feel like that's going to be a banger. I feel like it's going to be really good because LA Knight is good in the ring and Jacob is really good as well.
Well, remember this was decided. Strowman Fatu was later on in the evening. So let's just go to that one real fast. Yep, Fatu won. So we didn't got to come back to it later. And now that sets up for this. So that's it. Yeah, this is going to be. I want Fatu to win also. I'm not a big LA Knight guy anyway, but I want to see Fatu with some gold on it because, like I said, I want to see what they do with him. He's really fucking good.
Yeah. Now, and I agree with you on that because LA Knight started off hot, but now it's like he's fizzled out, and I'm just like, okay, like we get it. You're a mixture of The Rock and Stone Cold, and you got charisma, but unless you do something crazy, I'm ready for somebody else to be US champ.
We're good for you having the belt for a little while. He had it, dropped to Shinsuke. Shin lost it like a month later, right back to him, and then whatever. But it was all right. Can't complain.
Yep. And then we cut to Paul Heyman waiting in the parking lot, waiting for Roman to arrive. Funny little segment between him and Braxton. Then we see a car come down the ramp. We realize that it is not Roman Reigns, but Seth Rollins. He's laughing. He's like, I can't wait to see this. Ha ha ha. That kind of stuff. Funny segment. I liked it. Definitely set up for what happens later on.
So, I mean, the thing there, the other thing to remember is on that segment is before the segment even ended, Paul Heyman was like, the answer to CM Punk is yes. Whatever your favorite is, yes. Now just tell me what it is so we can be done with this. And then he thought that Roman Reigns was coming down, and it wasn't. It was Rollins. But that's the takeaway from that part of the promo. He's essentially just said yes blindly to whatever Punk wants. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And then this was actually one of my favorite Charlotte and Tiffany segment. Charlotte starts cooking Tiffany, and I'm sorry, Tiffany started cooking Charlotte until Tiffany fumbled. There was a point where like she stuttered and Charlotte really went in and was like, I can't hear you. You're so high pitched.
Yeah, you're so high pitched.
But then Tiffany recovered with, you're going to end up being alone, like in real life outside, like, you know what I mean? Because she just recently went through the divorces and called her out for, crying on a talk show and all these things. And then Charlotte tried to strike back with is that the reason why Kaiser is in my DMs? Like, and you know what's funny about that? Let's get real, right? Let's be real for a minute. Come on, man. We all know Kaiser is not in your DMs whatsoever. Like, let's get real. Come on.
I mean, hey, man, crazy shit's happened. I can't attest to either thing because there's only two people that were involved in that conversation. So I can't say that either way, man. Because Trevor Stein's beautiful as shit, and I always say you never want to trade down, but some people are stupid, and so I can't say that's not true. So. All I'm saying is that was a very well done segment. It was crazy that they pulled from reality a little bit, kind of especially with what Charlotte is going through personally, and the fact that she was on the talk show and she did break down because it is, emotional. I can imagine a divorce.
Like for sure. Yeah.
And not just one. I mean, this is the one from Andrade. This was, there was two prior. So yeah. But good segment. Like I said, I like the fact that they're drawing from the realism because it's kind of makes them like believable, and they can be annoyed with each other and bring it to the ring. It's great. It's fun. I think the match is going to be really, really entertaining because of the fact that these two have built such a good animosity up that people feel like this is like really like a fight that's going down.
Yeah, for sure. Really good segment. Then we move to Aldis making an announcement that there will be a women's tag team gauntlet match next week, which, oh my gosh, I'm just like, yo, that's just so much. But I get it. We got to get some, some opponents
More
ready
female talent on the card.
Yeah.
But
overwhelming. But it's like, okay, I get it. We're almost there. So let's get that going. I wonder how that's going to turn out, but definitely will be entertaining to watch as the weeks go, for sure. And then the next segment is the Street Profits. They come out to watch the number one contenders match between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I fast forwarded to this after like the first 3 or 4 minutes. I'm like, just tell me who won.
Yeah,
like, let's go. Like, but I figured the Machine Guns were gonna win, and sure enough, I'd stopped at like 2 minutes before the finisher, so it worked out perfectly. But from what I saw, solid match. I just want to see who this is because now I'm just like saturated, and I'm like, all right, let's hit the major points. Let's get some of this stuff done like quickly.
Yeah. Agreed. So much is happening with the tag division and SmackDown that it's fun, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, like we just had a match last week, and we have so many teams involved now. It's like, okay, let's give the Profits, some time to kind of like relish in this championship reign. But I get it. You got to set up the next stuff for Mania. So all good. And then Pretty Deadly comes up in a segment with Miz and Carmelo. I love the name Mellow Don't Miz. Like, I like their little skit and their little tag team. Again, also that's entertaining. Fun. Nothing crazy.
Yep. No, we can breeze right through that too.
Yeah. All right. And then we get B-Fab versus Naomi.
B-Fab. We can definitely breeze through that shit.
Yeah. And then obviously B-Fab gets messed up trying to take advantage of Naomi. Right. And we thought B-Fab was going to get the win since Naomi got jumped, but I guess not. Naomi still gets the win, which is wild to me, but okay. Moving on. Naomi calls out Jade, and Jade comes out of nowhere, kicks her in the face. And then now the match has been official. They both will see each other at WrestleMania.
At Mania.
Awesome. Yep. Then we cut into Damian responding to Drew's promo from earlier, talking about how Drew takes the victim mentality. He's the victim of everything. It's never his fault. This whole thing. Good response. Shows that Damian is still strong and dominant. I like that. No notes there. That was cool. Yep. And then Kevin Owens promo. Neck surgery real. At first, I didn't think this was real because the fact that Randy came out and looked disappointed and all that stuff, I felt like for it to be real, I don't understand why they didn't give Kevin Owens like that real moment, like a Daniel Bryan moment, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to have to retire. I'm going to have to go away. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Kevin.
I think there's got to be a plan for something like that in the future, some kind of thing moving forward, because they would have done for Kevin Owens, they would have given him more time and made it more serious and real than it appears to have been there. So I agree with you. I felt like they should have given him more, and I think they will. I don't want to say that this is a work because it is true, but I think they're kind of slow playing how they're going to do it. Maybe they bring him out next week and they're like build on it a little bit more or what have you. Especially after the confrontation with the fan at the end there when he's walking out, he's talking smack to some fan. But yeah, I felt bad because Kevin Owens I like Kevin Owens, and it sucks when your body physically tells you can't do something anymore. The heart isn't there and the desire isn't there. But hopefully he gets the surgery, he recovers, and he's able to come back in a wrestling capacity or in another at least. But yeah, that stinks. But cheers to Kevin Owens. Hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah. So Randy gets told that he has no more match at WrestleMania. RKO's Aldis. Awesome segment. Really cool with that. Then we jump into Jacob versus Braun.
He's recovered
for the number one contendership. Yep, we knew that. That happened. And then Paul is in the back, still waiting on Roman. Roman arrives, just walks by him, goes straight to the ring. I love that they do that now, where the camera follows everybody through the backstage, going all the way to the front. That's really cool.
Through Gorilla,
it adds it adds a new element to it. I really like that. And then that's it. And then we get to the final segment of the night. We're talking about the favor. What's the favor?
Yep.
Seth comes out because he says he wouldn't want to miss it for the world. Punk comes out and he reveals what the favor is. Roman laughs and tells Paul to tell him no, because Paul, according to Roman, loves him and is obsessed with him and all this stuff. And Paul, in tears, crying, is like, no, I can't do that, my tribal chief. And then ultimately Punk attacks Roman, GTS's him, and Seth stares Punk down. And, they have a moment. But my favorite part of it was after Roman gets the go to sleep, Paul is on the ropes with tears and he's like, no! Awesome way to end the segment in the night, because then best. Executive producer, Triple A.
Well, the one thing that we didn't mention throughout this entire thing is actually what the favor was. Because you said the favor.
Right.
So the favor is CM Punk as Paul Heyman to be in his corner at WrestleMania and not in Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And so that's why Reigns got ticked and this whole thing went off. But I think fun use of the favor, kind of, I mean, you're not sure because it's like, was this his plan the entire time? Did he know he was going to get a Mania match? So we're going to be answering all those questions in the next couple of weeks until we get to Mania. But, like I said, without saying I want a championship shot, he doesn't have the belt. So you can't ask for a championship shot. You're getting him in the ring already. So what else can you do? You take away his best piece. You take away the wise man and you put him in your corner. So I thought really, really cool. Great favor. Good segment. Real fun. And then Paul Heyman, like you said, just over delivering is just always fun. Always.
Yeah. Overall, what an awesome way to end the week. And now I'm just truly looking forward to Monday Night Raw, and I'm looking forward to SmackDown, and where we get to and how we get to the remainder of the matches and setups for WrestleMania, which is, I believe, on the
19th and the 20th. 19th and the 20th. Yeah. On Easter. I'm like, come on, man. How you guys gonna do this on Easter?
For real.
Because I mean, like the Saturday night before is not a problem, but I gotta go to my in-laws on Easter, and it's like we're spending the night, and I'm like, man, the internet out there is terrible. They live on a Long Island. I'm like, the internet is terrible out on the island. No.
Yeah, no, agreed. But definitely looking forward to watching and seeing what happens. So, Primo, any final thoughts for this incredible mega episode?
Man, from 2 hours of mega episode, bro. What I think is we talked a lot about wrestling is what I think, but I think it was great storytelling. There wasn't any, like I said, with the exception of something, because not everything is going to be a home run hit, but nothing was amiss. Nothing was terrible. There were a couple of spots that, like I said, that were just kind of like, okay, yeah, let's get through this like that. But I mean, there's always going to be those type of filler things. The spots that we cared about, the storylines that were there, were all perfectly executed, very well done. Once again, great job to Hunter and the rest of the writing team and everybody over there for making this all. Just kind of run smoothly. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of hiccups, not a lot of holes in the story where you're like, wait a second, that doesn't, now everything's kind of, it's finding its niche, and they're in a groove. They're in a good rhythm, and hopefully this continues post-Mania. But I think I'm just really excited to see where all of this is going now, because now we're starting to get more final matches, more final things, and the card is now becoming real. And that's what I can't wait to see, that real card where we can pick, our matches and things like that, and then just sit down and just settle in for two really fantastic nights of wrestling.
Yeah. Agreed with everything you said. And the only thing that I will add to that is I think they did a fantastic job in the last 2 weeks giving life again to certain matches that we were worried at one point weren't going to get the shine or the light that, we thought they were going to get, right? And I'm referring to the Charlotte Tiffy match, adding those real elements to it, the Jay Gunther match, because adding that whole, Rocky IV, my brother's dead in the middle of the ring, bleeding out.
Yeah. Throw in a towel. Throw in a towel.
Yeah, like those things, little things like that, really, really adding more fuel to like what's happening next. And then also same thing with Jacob Fatu. Definitely looking forward to that match. So far, all the matches that have been set, the Jade and Naomi match, great jobs on the promos and the interferences. Definitely set all the matches that are already locked in. They were all done in a way where now we can't wait to see the payoffs, because the stories that were told in between really solidified those matches now. Now it's like, I'm in. Let's go. Let's do this.
Definitely. It's exciting. It's can't miss TV. I'm so amped. I can't wait to get home from work to sit down and just turn Raw on and see what's going on.
Yeah. For sure. Entonces, primo, como siempre, you know what to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for anything that you may be doing for us in terms of following, liking, emailing, whatever you guys are doing out there. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure that we get to do this, time in and time out. We missed a little bit of time with some days off this past couple of weeks, but we're back in full force getting ready to take you to Mania. That being said, we love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you when we see you.
We will see you when we see you. Ciao, everybody.